Hi, thank you for tuning in this week. I want to just say thank you for everyone that watches every week. I really enjoy bringing a message to you and sharing with you. It really helps me, and I just really appreciate everyone that tunes in and sends encouraging messages afterwards. I really appreciate it. And something I wanted to talk about this week is kind of continuing a little bit of what we talked about last week, more so on how we implement what we talked about last week into our lives. Last week I talked about thinking before we speak and that our words matter, and I wanted to dive more into how we control ourselves from our self-seeking desires. I want to talk more about our need for self-discipline. Self-discipline means the ability to control one's feelings and overcome one's weaknesses, the ability to pursue what one thinks is right despite temptations to abandon it. And I wanted to talk out of 1 Corinthians 9:24 through 27, and that is, he titles it, the need for self-discipline. And it reads, "Do you know that in a race all runners run, but only one gets the prize? Run in such a way as to get to the prize. Everyone who competes in the games goes into strict training. They do it to get the crown that will not last, but we do it to get the crown that will last forever. Therefore, I do not run like someone running aimlessly. I do not fight like a boxer beating the air. No, I strike a blow to my body, and it makes it my slave, so that after I have preached to others, I myself will not be disqualified for the prize." A big part of controlling our tongue is self-discipline. Someone that speaks with wild abandon lacks self-discipline. In other areas of our lives, we may lack self-discipline in our eating, exercising, spending money, our own selfish desires, addictions, our phones, our relationships, and our relationship with God. We may find it hard to stop going back to the fridge when we are just bored. Or to discipline ourselves to go to the gym after work and work out. Someone struggling with addiction will find self-discipline hard when it comes to staying clean. Someone with anger issues may struggle with not reacting and lashing out when it comes to heated situations. Self-discipline is hard, but when trying to achieve something, it is vital to saying no when faced with temptation. Why is self-discipline important as a Christian? As a Christian, we've accepted a role of devotion to God, to be in relationship with Him. And in order for us to grow with Him and closer to Him, we will be required to lay down our old self, giving up many things that make us comfortable, things that give us temporary happiness, things that fill our time. And because we are human and we have free will, we will have a choice to give up living, speaking my way, to live in closeness with God, or to continue my way and live out of closeness to Him. It's hard sometimes for us to stay on the course, because it's not like the things that we once indulged in just go away. Like we give our life to Christ and we never see those things ever again. If that's how it worked, it'd make things so much easier. But they don't. They stay. We'll see the people that are in our lives still taking part in them, people around us. Those things will be there. But in order to live in closeness with Him, there are things that are asked of us to lay down our old life that get in the way from keeping us in closeness with Him, that take us from Him, that keep us from Him. We'll have to lay those down, and we'll have to say no. Staying close to God means in work, study, and worship. That may mean giving up phone time to spend some time alone in peace and in quietness with God, to study His Word. That might mean giving up sleeping in on Sunday mornings to go and worship Him at church. That's giving up our percent in tithes and offering instead of keeping it to spend it on something else. It's being flexible and kind when working with people that are hard to get along with. It's giving up your free time to serve others. The thing is, God will bless the flexible. God's eternal promise outweighs the temporary satisfaction of one more hour of sleep, or one extra piece of cake, or 20 more TikTok scrolls. If you haven't felt His blessings by His closeness, then you're not close enough. We often block our own blessings by stepping in the way and turning away from our faith in search of temporary satisfaction. Sometimes those blessings don't happen instantly, and sometimes the blessings aren't always what we think they are. So we often think that God's not listening, or He's not working in our lives or on our behalf, but He always is, but sometimes the answers aren't exactly what we hope for. They're not exactly when, or we don't understand why His answers are the way they are, but they are in fact blessings, and we block them in search of temporary satisfaction and turning away from our faith. God's promise is eternal life, and you can't find eternal life when searching for it in temporary things. This week, I encourage you to keep on being mindful of your tongue and to be aware of the areas that you fall short when it comes to self-discipline and in our relationship with God. Following God can be hard when you see all that you've left behind to follow Him. But I want you to stop looking that way. I want you to stop looking back at all that was left behind to follow Him and look forward. Step out in your faith, devote it to your study and your work and your worship to Him, and look towards the reward of eternal life. His promises to us are much greater than any temporary satisfaction that this world can offer. To stay close to Him takes work every single day. Self-discipline is something you will have to do every single day. The reason why athletes become the athletes that they are is because they work at it every single day. You wouldn't see these Olympic champions one after the other becoming first place in that area because they worked on it only on Mondays and they did everything else, whatever they wanted, on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Those people work and train every single day to become the best at what they do. So it's not any different when it comes to your relationship with God. In order to reach and experience eternal life and closeness and those blessings to God, it takes work every single day. And we will be faced with that choice every day to live and work and be in closeness to Him, or to go after temporary satisfaction. It's our choice. We make the choice. If we aren't experiencing those blessings, it's because we're blocking our own, and we are looking back at what we miss, or indulging in those things that we were to give up to live in closeness and to follow Him. It is a journey. It is a battle, but God moves mountains in our lives, and there's not a thing that He can't work on in you for you to fully put to rest in order to focus fully on Him and your relationship with Him. It's possible. We see it all the time. We have examples every day. And you're given a book, a workbook, a guidebook, a map, essentially, of all things of how God worked and how these people experienced his love, and you see it in others, how God works in their lives because they aren't in search of temporary satisfaction, but they're in search of eternal life and that promise with God. It's possible. And while the mountain seems big from where you're standing maybe at the bottom or in the middle, but we're going to get there. We're going to get to the top because we keep on going. We're going to keep on going, and we're going to keep walking, and we're going to keep learning. We're going to keep worshiping because that's what we got to do in search of that promise, in search of eternal life with God. So thank you for tuning in this week. As always, we hope to see you in person on Wednesdays or on Sundays, but if we can't see you there, we'll see you here next week. Thanks. Bye.